As a Kirby fan, I can honestly say that this game is my favorite 3D Kirby. That doesn't really say much because there's not a lot of them. I would count Air Ride as a 3D Kirby, but you know, again, doesn't really say much that this is my favorite 3D Kirby. But what I will say is, I think it's my second favorite Kirby game. It's certainly top three. My top three Kirby games. Bearing in mind, I haven't played every Kirby game. I've played a lot of Kirby games, but I haven't played a lot of the 2D ones that came like after the like Wii era, I guess. Like I've only really played the Game Boy games, the SNES games, the DS games. I've not played anything like any console games after Epic Yarn. Like I haven't played the I don't know the Dreamland. What's it? Return to Dreamland is the Wii one. Haven't played that. So like I don't know a lot about modern Kirby, but I know a lot about old Kirby. I've played the DS games. I've played the SNES. And I really love Kirby Superstar Ultra. I think it's my favorite Kirby game of all time. And top three is top three is like a Superstar Ultra, then Forgotten Land, which is this game, and then Kirby Dream Course. Genuinely, unironically, is one of the greatest Kirby games, which feels weird to say because it's like a side thing. It's like not the main game, but it's really good. Like it's not an insult to the main series games, in my opinion, to say that Dream Course is top three because Dream Course is a really fantastic game. But I've barely played Kirby's Air Ride, and I know that that game is kind of beloved. I've only very briefly played it, so I would like to. Yeah, I would like to play Dream Course. Or not Dream Course, sorry, a Kirby Air Ride in a future video and maybe get to know that game a little bit better. But this game is great. It's like a 3D platformer, but it's like Dark Souls at the same time. The boss fights are a significant part of this game, and they become a bigger part as the game goes on. There's like a boss rush, and there's like more difficult bosses later on. Right now it's like mostly platformer focused, but I think it becomes more combat focused kind of as the game goes on. And I really like the balance it has in that way. That like it's a platformer, but it also like turns into Dark Souls later on. The reason I compare it to Dark Souls is primarily because I haven't played Dark Souls. But my perception of Dark Souls is that it's a lot about like learning enemy patterns and like rolling around to dodge them. That is exactly what this game is. You gotta learn the boss patterns. You gotta like you know, shield, and you can kind of dodge using the slide. That is what this game is, and it's a major part of it as you go on into the game. So I've always described this as like a Souls-like, but I could be wrong because again I haven't played Dark Souls. I had the first Dark Souls game on Xbox 360 because they made like it was an Xbox Gold game. So gold. So I got it for free. So like naturally I have played it. But very briefly, I did not get very far at all. I remember there was like a dragon or something right at the start and I wasn't able to kill it, and I never really figured out how to do that. So it kind of felt inaccessible to me as a bad gamer. As somebody who is bad at video games, it felt kind of inaccessible to me. But, you know, that's just me complaining. I do want to try Souls-likes again. I would love to try Elden Ring, but like, am I really going to pay like £60 for a game that I might not even like? Like, I'm not generally a huge fan of the like open world kind of realistic games, so I don't know if I would actually like Elden Ring. I'm sure I would. Apparently it's like the best game ever made, and like I like good games, so I would probably like Elden Ring. I just have a problem with the financial commitment of putting money into it. But maybe I'll try it. Like, before the end of this channel, I would like to try a Souls-like. I would like to put that on on the list. This is one of my favorite abilities, the bomb ability. When you're against a boss, you can just completely like destroy them with bombs because you can throw so many at once. It's really fun. But actually, if you play the game without copy abilities, you might notice that a lot of the boss fights are easier when you don't. Because what happens with the boss fights, this is the same in every Kirby game, but I'm going to assume you haven't played a Kirby game, because although most people watching this channel have probably played a Kirby game, I can't assume that you all have. And so in Kirby games, the boss will do like a strong move, and it'll spit out these stars when the attack lands. And then you inhale those stars and spit them back at them. In this game, those stars do a lot of damage, usually more damage than you can do with normal attacks. So it's actually a lot of the time better to just do that and not even like use a copy ability. But I don't find it as interesting. I think the combat with the copy abilities is more interesting than the combat without. The combat without feels a lot slower paced because although it might overall be faster and you'll overall do more damage... Can I just go in here? What happens? Okay, yeah. I don't know how to get that, that Waddle Dee. I guess we'll just leave him. I don't need to get every single one. I've already 100% completed this game. It took like 30 hours. It's not a super long game. In 30 hours I managed to 100% it, and that was with a lot of like... You know, I wasn't really going as fast as possible. So it's not a super long game, but it's a very, like, fun one. I've never, like, 100%ed a Kirby... Well, maybe I 100%ed Superstar, Superstar Ultra. I don't remember. I know that, I didn't even remember I was on Wild Mode. I remember getting to the, like, buddy arena where you don't play as Kirby, you play as the, like, friend of Kirby. And I remember struggling to beat that, but I don't know if I ever did. Like, maybe I struggled, but I eventually beat it. In which case, I probably did 100% it, but I don't remember. Anyway, there was no boss in that level, but there should be one here. And I think I've got enough Waddle Dees to open the door. I had a lot of fun 100%ing this, but there was at least one Waddle Dee where I just couldn't find it. I had to look it up. I hate that. I hate playing a game where I have to look up what to do next. I'm gonna say, on the case of this game, it's not a big problem. Because one Waddle Dee out of like 300, or however many Waddle Dees are in this game, is pretty good. I think whichever one it was, you probably could find without a guide. Like, I just happened to miss it, and I decided to look it up before I kept looking. So I don't think it's that bad, but yeah. We're gonna go into this boss fight using my favorite power, the bomb power-up. You get to upgrade the powers too, which I thought was really nice. Aw, look at Kirby, he's so cute. I love Kirby. Actually, I say he's so cute, that is correct. A lot of people, because Kirby's pink, think that he's a girl. The truth is that he's definitely not a girl, but he might not be a boy either. It kind of depends on which interpretation you prefer, because he's pretty consistently referred to with, I don't know if there's a way for me to like get stats on him, but like, he's pretty consistently referred to as he, in the English versions of the game. But in Japanese, apparently he's referred to rather neutrally. Like, he doesn't use specifically gendered pronouns. I don't know a lot about Japanese as a language, and I don't know a lot about Japanese Kirby games. So I can only go off of what I've heard, but apparently in Japan he has like no specific gender. I've always just gone with the thing that Kirby's a boy, but I kind of like the idea of a non-binary Kirby, because like, why would he care about gender enough to have one? Because like, at the same time, you know, if Kirby's whole thing is that he just like eats and sleeps and like those are his best things, like he has all the power in the world, but he has no need for it. That's kind of like the thesis of his character. Like, in that case, he doesn't seem like he would be overly concerned about gender. So I can kind of see why Kirby would be like a they them, a non-binary little guy. But at the same time, I'll just go with what the game says, which is usually quite consistently he him. But it is kind of interesting. That's another thing. There was Periwinkle from Fairly Odd Parents. There's a new Fairly Odd Parents show. I haven't watched it, but people have been talking about it on the internet, as of course they would. The baby from Fairly Odd Parents, his name's Periwinkle now. They changed it because his previous name happened to be a gay slur. You know, it happens sometimes. It was obviously an accident. The slur interpretation of Periwinkle's old name, that is like a British thing, and the TV show is not British. So I'll give them the deniability on that one. A lot of people didn't know that Perry was always a boy. Like, he wears purple, so a lot of people just interpreted that he was a girl. I think that's so funny that people make those connections with like gender and color, and it's just like wrong. I think I'm gonna die here, so I'm actually gonna, I think, ditch the bomb ability and just use the stars here, because I think I have a much better chance. You see how much damage those do? And you can inhale more than one star at a time. And then you get even more damage. Like, it's so much stronger than using any of the power-ups, even when they're fully, like, leveled up. The power-ups just don't compare to the stars, usually. Which, like, I think it's kind of cool, because it rewards, like, skill. Because it's in my opinion, it's more skillful to use the ability to use the, like, bait the attack and then send the stars back at him. In my opinion, that's more skillful than just, you know, spamming the fucking bomb. Anyway, there's